Greetings YouTube, this is BJ Black, and this is part 10 of my Let's Play of Monmus Quest Paradox RPG. Today we're visiting the port of Ilias. Iliasport, in short. But of course, before we get there we have to go camping. Sonia will set up the tent, and Ilias will do nothing to help whatsoever. Ilias is a bit lonely about the companions she can't have anymore. So before we head to bed and we can talk to people, I'm extremely disappointed to see that Minnie, my Phoenix girl, is in my party but not represented here at the campsite. Pucci and Lamia, I can't help but feel, gets a rough deal here because she's really turned into this one-dimensional character who does nothing but cook and clean. Puppy is practicing fire breathing, but the important people are over here. Sonia feels kind of overwhelmed by all the events that have been taking place. She's just following Luka as best she can. And she feels like she's might be dragging him down pretty soon. But Luka appreciates her being there. Even though Sonia originally came along supposedly to keep Luka from hurting himself, overdoing it. So she's going to be doing her best and doing some restoration as well. She is a priestess after all. Oh, this is pretty good. This is Ilias asking Luka if he can hear her voice. She is presently, and she explains this, she is presently whispering to him. Yeah, Luka can hear. So we have a Luka whispered conversation about Sonia. Ilias repeats that she is not someone you should let your guard down around. She doesn't exist in history. Now we finally know a bit about these parallel universe things, so Luka asks if she's from another one. Ilias says that may be possible, whether or not Sonia knows it herself or not. But Sonia's parents definitely existed. Ilias can't deny that. She does repeat that it's odd that Sonia's mother even came back from the adventure alive. This is also connected to everything else, obviously. Luka believes in Sonia, which is good of him. Sonia wouldn't be deceiving them, but Ilias thinks this is actually one of the worst situations. Because if she doesn't exist and is sincerely believing she exists, that could lead to trouble. Now Sonia asks what we're whispering about, and they pretend they're talking about dinner. Now she's feeling a little bit oppressed. What Ilias has to say is talking about the three Owls. Actually, she's just going to list off all of the things we've been through. The high probability that there are more parallel universes they'll be visiting. Now she says that some paradox must have occurred. No doubt about it. Now Luka asks what this paradox thing is. Ilias has mentioned it before. Promestien is apparently one of the characters you should have it in your party at this point. Because right in the middle of the conversation she'll butt in and start explaining things. Well, the paradox is something wherein space-time contains a contradiction. We don't know the cause, but something in the histories has really screwed up. And due to that, multiple different worlds have come into being. Now Luke asks if Promestien is from another world. Apparently from sometime in the past. He, I guess, wasn't paying attention. Because he says 100 years, where Ilias has already said it's been over 1,000 since Promestien had this appearance. Well, she wasn't aware that she was in a parallel universe when she got stuck into the Tartaros. She does wonder if there is another version of her in this world, though. A version of her who's several hundred years older. Ilias confirms that, yes, such a person does exist. Although it's never been asked or answered whether Ilias herself is from this universe. Apparently, this Ilias has lost contact with the Promestien of her universe, and even speculates that she might have fallen in with Black Alice. Promestien is curious about what she would be like older, since obviously everybody gets more powerful with age, and maybe more crazy in her case. Ilias says she should stay young and innocent, although in her case it may be too late for the innocent part. And now we go back into the guessing game where Ilias tries to get Promestien to guess who she is. Her hints are not really getting any more informative, however. Well, if you're not this rank of angels, someone from that rank of angels that I don't know. And Ilias again asserts that she is higher than that. And now we get some interesting names dropped. She's gotten up to the Seraphim rank of angels, of which there are only 3. And she names off Eden, Shion, and Gnosis. This is curious because Ilias doesn't know those 2 names, the latter 2. She knows Eden, but doesn't know Shion or Gnosis. Well, if she doesn't know the Seraphim, in that case, were they defeated in the Holy Wars? And no. From the beginning, the Seraphim were Michaela, Lucifina, and Eden. And Promestien will again repeat, Eren Sion Gnosis. Mikaela, after the victory in the Holy Wars, became one of the Archangels, the leader of the 7 of them. And Lucifina retired, leaving one of the Seraphim seats empty. Ilias is surprised here to learn that the angels won the Holy Wars. She asks about the 6 Ancestors seal. Because Alice Fuse the First could not be defeated, there was no victory. Even sealed now, at the best, she is simply recovering from her wounds. Promestien again denies it. Alice Fuse the First was completely destroyed. And afterward, and in the aftermath, the 6 Ancestors were defeated by the 7 Archangels. Surprises all around here. Apparently, wherever Promestien is from, the 7 Archangels were about on equal power with the 6 Ancestors. Ilias never had a group of 7 Archangels that was that powerful, however. Ilias concludes that Promestien is from some other reality. She is a little regretful that she didn't come from a reality where she won the Holy Wars, though. She would like to visit it. And Promestien says, okay, in the end, who exactly are you? At this point I realized what this was getting at. Promestien is actually from a reality where Ilias did not exist. Is what I would like to say, but I came to that realization and then I get shot down in the very next text box. So yeah, Promestien does know Ilias and says that she was much bigger. And here Ilias displays a character moment just to show Promestien how much of a anal retentive bitch she is. In this case, offering to bind her into the bottom of the closest cave she can find. Yep, that's exactly how she acts. Of course, Promestien should have noticed a long time ago. Now she's wondering just how many parallel universes there are. She's getting tired of thinking, so she orders Promestien to do the hard thinking from now on. Promestien spouts a bunch of gobbledygook, and Ilias is pleased that she doesn't have to do the thinking anymore. Yeah, Promestien will get lost in techno-babble really quick if you let her. So now it's time to sleep, except we're going to be training first. Ilias is going to teach us a technique. Instead of a sword technique, it is a holy technique. The holy light waves. Luka doesn't really think he can do it because he's just a normal human, and that sounds like something you would need to be a special, well, something other than a normal human for. But Ilias does some instruction. starting from the very beginning, since Luka doesn't even know how to concentrate holy energy. But Ilias explains that if you concentrate your feelings of wanting to punish someone, or turn the tables, or something like that, you can use holy energy. She suggests he think of the time he was most angry at someone. It happens to be a conflict with Sonia the year previous. So he immediately casts this on Sonia and apologizes. You know, there should really be some more explanation about what happened there, but there isn't. Ilias is pleased. Luka gets his technique. Thanks a bunch, let's go to sleep. Well, no, Ilias has one more thing. Oh, Luka was saying there that he thought he would need to be something other than a human to use holy energy. And he asks Luka about that, as if he wasn't just standing around during the conversation with Promess Teen. But okay, let's pretend that Luka was not paying attention at all. So, next technique Ilias wants to teach us. Luka's going to learn how to meditate. So she tells him to sit like this and empty your thoughts. She goes silent, he goes silent, and he recovers some energy. Now he asks how he managed to do that. She would answer, except she fell asleep herself. So, that done, our camping trip is over, and we can head into the next town. This is Iliasport. Unusually, however, it's not very busy, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of commerce going on. I told you in the last chapter, in our last installment, to keep that elven medicine, you can give it to this guy in order to get access to the top room. Because if you don't give him the medicine, this guard will stop you anytime you head to the third floor of this place. If you do hand it over, that's great, you get access. And that's about it. Now this character, if you talk to her and do the thing, you can get a permission slip to become a nurse. Luka doesn't have enough life for us right now, so we don't get to be nurses. It takes about 300 life, and if we got all of our stuff in order, he could get about 250, as we are now. And this character can give you the permission slip for Scholar class. She takes about 300 life as well, so we're not going to do it either. Anything else up on the third floor here is basically talking to people and grabbing items off of them. This whole building is supposed to be an academy, so there's lots of talking you can listen to. But we're not here to talk, we're here to get on a boat. Of course it's not going to be that easy. There aren't boats heading to Centra, the continent of Central right now. When they head out of the harbor, they get hit by storms and they get capsized. Seems like there's a monster behind it. So, no boats. Minnie's really impressed. No matter how hard she flapped her wings, she couldn't capsize a boat. Ilias says it must be Alma Elma. Luka doesn't know who that is. That's one of the 4 Shiten no. Oh, crap, why did I say that? Redundancy. Anyway, Alma Elma can use the power of wind. Quite powerful. She's a queen succubus. So let's defeat her. No, not gonna happen. She's way too powerful for us at this point. Vanilla's heard rumors about the queen succubus. pretty dangerous. So what are we gonna do? We wait for outside help. Nero says there's a way. Nero says, what a coincidence. Maybe he should have led with that. Alright, drop the passerby act. What's up with this way to get through? Alright, to the west there's a cave. In the cave there's a treasure left behind by the crate pilot Seraphim. Well, many treasures really. Among those treasures is the sea god's bell. No matter how violent the seas become, a boat will not sink as long as it's got that item on it. Well, he tries to hurry along on his way, but Sonia does stop him for a second and thank him for his help with the Harpy Nest and Happiness Village. This World Tree's fruit that we got was really valuable, but he says it was nothing. To see the harpies and humans getting along better is all the thanks he needs. So, bye. Well, we don't know what Nero's true goal here is, but we may as well take advantage of it. Heading for a cave in the west. Ilias says there's a marker board down south we passed on the way up to this town. And yeah, that does have a sign pointing to the pirate's hidden treasure cave for some reason. And we're off. Everybody's exciting to be finding treasures. Or looking for treasures at the very least. Ilias senses the presence of foxes, even though this isn't their natural territory. Seems like Tamamo is here to hinder us. She's been so troublesome for thousands of years, huh? Luka doesn't know this Tamamo person. Ilias knows it's a seven-tailed fox. Not somebody we could win against, so we better just get the bell and run. Now, I'm going to turn off my encounter droppers. Because there are characters I want to recruit in this cave. Not these. I better go down to the second floor. These don't appear on the second floor of this dungeon. I didn't try getting encounters in this screen on my trial run. This just may stick out as being kind of out of place. Well, there's a reason for that. This is your introduction to mimics. Oh, asking for money? Yeah, go ahead, whatever you want. Oh, the mimics do have an instant kill attack, which they apparently used on Pucci. Items, Phoenix Tails, Pucci. Not funny. How annoying. Well, whatever. So mimics are actually quite dangerous at this point in the game, so you don't want to take them on without proper preparations. What's Luka? What is Luka doing in the front row? Not that that really would have helped me. So, revival, and we should be good from now on. There are probably 4 or 5 mimics you can find in this cave, and you'll see some more in the next couple of dungeons. Oh, while we're here, Alice has come here, and she is recruiting her second Shiten Null. She's quite pleased with herself, in spite of the fact that this is like the lowest level characters she is gathering up. This is one of the characters we're going to recruit, though. The silver-haired two-tail. And as Ilias expected, this place is a hideout for foxes now. I'm almost definitely here. I forgot to do it in the last episode, but in the Hidden Village Enrica, there were some angels to which you could talk to, getting a bit more backstory about the heavens. You see, the angels that were in Enrica were unable to return to the heavens after the calamity, the cataclysm, 30 years ago. Now, whether the heavens were destroyed or whether they simply lost access, they don't know. But this is one of the things that Ilias has been concerned about. The heavens being destroyed would be definitely a bad thing for her. Now, this is another one of the characters I'm going to recruit. Both of these characters are two-tailed foxes. This one is called the Camaro two-tail, and the other one is the... Woohoo! Aren't they cute? I wish I could put her in my party, but I've set my party for the game. I would be running from these spider girls, but... Oh, how about this? Now we get to guess what her hobby is. Now this one's pictures, and this one is not something to be spoken of in polite company. This top one I don't know, but it seems like something a spider would do. No, seems like something she's tried, but she wasn't any good at. So the right answer would be the second one. What did I say that was? Now anyway, about these characters I'm recruiting. The first one I recruited, the Camaro two-tails, is the younger associate of the silver two-tails. Camaro happens to be the name of the hairstyle she has. It's a child's hairstyle. And the silver two-tails is the senpai of the Camaro two-tails. In other words, she's had more experience in foxy stuff. Once you have the two of them in your party, they'll show up in several towns from this point on in the game. I believe it starts in Iliasport. Oh boy, just what I always wanted. Before too long, I should be able to run away from these characters. Ah. What? Silver Fox. Gotta catch them all. Here we are. That's a really charming expression as well. I believe I've said before that in my main save I have a bunch of characters by that artist. Those two, three of the four bandits, Minnie, and there must be one more. Anyway, I've got what I wanted out of here. I spotted something that deserves mention. Now, yes, Vanilla has earned an ability from the merchant class she starts in. This is medicinal knowledge. I thought it might be the other merchant skill, which increases the drop rate of the drop money that enemies give out. Heal circle. And here we have Nanabi. This is one of Tamamo's servants. Not even close to as powerful as Tamamo herself. She says she won't let us through. And Ilias decides that we're going to take her down. The one thing I dislike most about the four bandits is how they're always crying and like acting all scared. They need to grow some backbones. So this is Nanabi. Really, really powerful. I'm going to defend for a turn. And we're done. You see, in order to beat this boss, you just have to take her down by, I don't know, 10% of her hit points, 20% of her hit points. And since on very easy, they always lose 20% of their life at the end of every turn. She just lost. We're supposed to be losing this battle, so the characters are all talking like we're losing. When this person shows up, if you were watching very carefully in the last episode, you may recognize her as the mysterious Alice, who is wreathed in shadows. Alice, the elf, was talking. So she butts into the fight. Nanabi immediately recognizes her. This is indeed Alice the 17th. Well, what's she doing here? She apparently knows that we're supposed to be defeating Nanabi, but we're losing horribly. So she's going to help us out. Well, fine time to be having a conversation. Nanabi decides to take her on. So, how straightforward? Here we go. Crimson Petal, Crimson Lotus Flames, Crazed Sword, 10,000 Spirits Flame, or something to that effect. Does that seem like a lot of damage? That's a lot of damage. So, Nanabi's wiped out. Well, she did wipe out like 3 whole villages full of powerful monsters, and then fought Grombelia to a standstill without revealing her full power, so yeah. Anybody surprised here? Everybody, I guess. Now this comes out. This is Tamamo apologizing. She was ahead for a bit, and now they're in this... And now they're disordered to this extent. Ilias is not familiar with Tamamo taking this form. Interesting, interesting. Anyway, at this point, Ilias cuts in and points out that having a conversation with this Tamamo isn't going to get us anywhere because she's not actually here. This is an image that's replaying a recorded message, so to speak. At this point, she says she's going to portion out a bit of her magic. And now she says she would do the same for Nanabi, except Nanabi's too powerful for that right all at once, so it'll have to wait for later. Nanabi objects, of course, that she hasn't been sealed or anything, she's just been wiped out. And apparently what Tamamo was offering was more effective on seals. Now she congratulates Luka. Luka says, "What the hell are you talking about?" And Alice feels the second time, needs to repeat a second time that this is just a pre-recorded message. She came from another parallel, it's just a copy from another parallel universe. And really, there's only one person who can do that. Oh yes, we've found you out. So what she was doing was copying a Tamamo from another similar situation and seeing how well it could go. Well, it did pretty well considering it got Nanabi out here. Nanabi herself is crestfallen to learn that she was fooled by a fake. Ilias clarifies that it wasn't exactly a fake. Not that clarifying this does any good for anybody, since nobody seems to pay attention when we do these clarifications. Ilias accuses the White Rabbit of making this copy and doing all this to get things going however she happens to want it. At this point, the White Rabbit accuses this Ilias of being another Ilias. With this many Iliases running around, it's getting quite troublesome. Ilias wants answers, but she again says she doesn't do answers. She is just trying to guide things along, and in this case she does clarify slightly that she's getting history to be more like the way it should be, which I find terribly offensive for personal reasons, but I'm going to let that go. Anyway, someone keeps screwing up history, so she has to run around trying to get things on track. And now she flat out stonewalls requests for clarification, saying that she's just... her role is simply a guide. Guiding Alice on the correct path. Except apparently this Alice. She says we don't need this Alice in this world and suggests we just erase her. Now, the 17th here thinks that she can get away with this because the White Rabbit has always said she's a guide rather than someone who directly gets involved. But the White Rabbit says that even if she does get directly involved here and erases Alice, paradoxes will not occur for that reason, so she may as well do it. And she stops time. Is it just me, or did Nanabi keep moving for one frame longer than everybody else? Well, whatever. But taking down Alice V's the 17th would be anticlimactic at this point, so it won't go. Nero comes in and cuts the White Rabbit from behind. Well, isn't that strange? Time stopped and all. You arrogant little bitch. Did you really think you were the only person who could stop time? And Nero says, I'm taking you out. Not literally taking her out like on a date, although those particular words could be used to mean that. More like he's taking her out of the picture. At least for the moment. And everybody else saw nothing. They just the White Rabbit just disappeared and they never even saw Nero. Alice sees the 17th seems to have a glimmer of what's going on and is a bit embarrassed by it. So, Luka, Alice V's wants to go on a date with you. Clearly everything serious has been concluded and we can go on to the silly crap. Surprise, surprise, and surprise. At this point, Alice V's the 17th reveals her true name, Neris. She asks Luka to call her by that. And she's immediately offended by anybody else calling her that. Calls Ilias a low-life goddess. Which is completely accurate, but shocks Ilias for a moment while she goes on the monologue here. She suggests various places she's researched for date locations. The Sabasa Oasis, the Grandol Theater, the Coliseum at Granolia, the Magic Academy, or we could just have sex right away. Whatever Luka's up for, she's down for. But Ilias doesn't want to let that happen, claiming Luka as her servant. And we want some explanations. Well, Neris is bothered by all the noise from the peanut gallery, so she's going to put the date on hold for this time. Next time for sure, though. She doesn't give any explanations either, though. Well, we can't have all the explanations all at once, otherwise it would be a pretty boring game. Oddly seems really familiar with Luka, even though Luka's never met her before. Most definitely powerful. Huh. So the White Rabbit is trying to correct history somehow. Again, Ilias seems like she's about to remember something, but it just doesn't come out. At this point, I'm starting to ask whether she actually knows something about the White Rabbit and either her circumstances or some specific seal in her memories is keeping her from remembering it. To what purpose? God only knows. And anyway, that's just speculation. So let's loot this place and get out of here. Most important, actually least important, a small medal in this chest, and the Sea God's Bell in this chest. Oh, I should mention, Nanabi's just going to sit around here. She's really disappointed in herself for not realizing that Tamamo was a fake, so she's going to be training. And she'll be training here for apparently as long as we'll leave her there. We can challenge her to a fight, only we would get our asses handed to us. In the preview fight there, she lost 20% of her life at the end of her turn. But if you fight her for real, the game does not let you do it on very easy. It goes to normal. And you have to whittle down all 30,000 points of her hit points. I think it's 30,000. And she is still quite a dangerous opponent, even without having to take... Let's see, at this point we could do a few hundred damage per turn. Even if it didn't take 100 turns, she could kill us. So anyway, if we do fight her and win, she'll become one of our allies as well. Not that there's any chance we'll win. And this is a shortcut out of the cave. Actually, I do have a cutscene I can view. But first, let's get Camaro into our party. Let's replace Ilias for the moment. Camaro. This is one of the fox girls that we recruited. Whoops. Why do I keep doing this? Okay. Now that she's in our party, if you come over here to the bulletin board, she has her own... Not this one, this one. She has her own request to make. She needs to find a person with very strange inclinations in order to learn more about human fetishes and other things that we can't do now or are not interested in doing now. So, person of strange habits would be this person. I mentioned before that you could recruit this character somehow. And yes, apparently you have to watch the first scene before you can do the second scene, even with Camaro in your party. So this is the scene. If you choose this last one, you can do that and the scene will end. Now that we've got Camaro in our party, we can do this second scene, which is not much better than the first. And that gets us an achievement. And if you want, this guy will join your party. Oh hell no, I'm not letting you in the main party. So that's how you recruit him. I had to look... I was looking things up on the Japanese wiki lately. So when I first came to Pornoff and said I didn't know how, I only learned recently. And that will cover us for Camaro's little scene. Whoops. Now kick out Camaro, get Ilias back. And we can head to Iliasport. If I'm not mistaken, there will be... Nope. The scene I'm thinking of must happen in the next town. So that will cover us for this installment. And thanks for watching. I will see you tomorrow, YouTube.